Hey everybody, Len here with the Potter's Pickers. Let me do the first thing I need to do, which is apologize for the video quality. I'm right now on a laptop that we have strictly dedicated for printing. It's an old Windows 7 machine, and we need this to communicate with our printer. So I don't normally use this for Google Hangouts, but I'm going to be screen sharing with you in a minute anyhow, so you won't have to see all this. So anyhow, what I want to do is teach you how to make your own shipping labels. And the reason it's important is because it's going to save you time and it's going to save you money. Some things you're going to want is, first of all, a laser printer, not an inkjet, but a laser jet printer. I use a Canon Image Class MF4570DN that I got off of Craigslist, and works great. You're also going to want labels. Now you can print your labels on a regular sheet of paper and tape them. It's just a little time consuming. In the early days we used to do that, but when we started to sell 5, 6, 7 things a day, it's just one of those things that this is just easier. Is a label. There's the kind we use, and there's 2 to a sheet. So I pull them out, and they're perforated so they can rip in half. So those are the basic tools you're going to need. Now, we had a pretty good day today. We sold 6 items. I have 5 of them here, 4 records, and a video game, a PSP game. Now, I have a video on how to box records for free. In other words, so you don't have to buy a box. So this is a U2 single that sold. I sold 2 Hall & Oates records today to do to 2 different people. That's totally random, but awesome nonetheless. So let me share screens with you, and I want to show you what you need to do to print your shipping labels. Again, this is assuming you already have an eBay account open. So before I go there, let me tell you why you want to do this. I talked about the time savings. When you print your own shipping labels, you don't have to stand in line at the post office waiting for a clerk to be available to take care of your shipping for you. Depending on how many things you have, that can be really time consuming. You can schedule a pickup from the post office when you print your labels this way, or if you choose to go into the post office, you can leave them there. And then you don't have to wait in line. You just bring them up to a counter they usually have dedicated for things that are already ready to ship, and they go. Now, I talked about having a laser printer versus an inkjet. The reason is because if your label gets wet from the weather, an inkjet, the ink will smear. And that's really important because, as you'll see on a label, it's got to be scanned. So if that barcode gets wet and it smears and the address smears, you're kind of screwed, and you're setting yourself up for a negative feedback or a defect, which you don't want. Look, I'm trying to help you get to your top rated seller status here. Another real convenience to this is that your shipping is now taken directly out of PayPal. When you do it this way, your shipping cost, which, whether you pay it or, you did a free shipping on your item, or the customer paid for it, it comes directly out of your PayPal. So you don't have to take the money out of your pocket to pay for your shipping. I mean, it's ultimately coming out of pocket, but you know what I'm saying there. So let me share screens with you and show you what we're going to do here. So here comes our little infinity screen. And so here we are on eBay. I'm going to go to my eBay over here on the right, click on that, and it's going to ask me for my password. And this machine might be a little bit slower, you guys, so I apologize in advance for that if that's indeed the case. But what I want to show you is thoroughly how to do this step by step. So over here under Selling Manager Pro on your left toolbar, we're going to go to Sold and Awaiting Shipment. Click on that. And here are all the items I have awaiting shipment. Now, everything I've got boxed up already, I wrote down on the package what it is and how much it weighs. So I've already measured and weighed the item, plus I labeled it so I remember what it is, okay? The last thing you want is to mislabel and ship something to the wrong person. So however you do it, just take care of, make sure that you're using a system that makes sense. So let's start off with the Hall & Oates record. As you can see, I sold that for $12.99, and with shipping, it came to $16.74. I'm gonna print the label for that. So you got to scroll to the right, click on print shipping, and it's going to take you to this screen. So it shows here what the item price was and what the customer paid for shipping, and then your order total. Tells you where the item's going over here, and of course where it's going from. So we are doing a record, and records will ship media mail. So I have this already selected, but look, you can change this. This only indicates what the customer paid for, what's already defaulted to, and that's because when you created the listing, you selected this already, or I should say I selected this. So you can change it here if you want to, but keep in mind, anything over and above what the customer paid comes out of your pocket, comes out of your profits. So we're going to leave that as media mail, and I still need to enter in my weight. Okay, so on the Hall & Oates Rock and Roll Soul, I have a weight. I have a weight of 1 pound 0 ounces. Okay. And here you can click on change dimensions. Let's say something changed, for some reason you had to use a different kind of box than you figured when you set up. My box here is going to be 13 by 13 by 1. It weighs 1 pound. Click on calculate. Save. The customer paid $3.75. I'm paying $2.72 for shipping, so I've made $1.03 on shipping. This is important here because with all my records, you might be looking at this and saying, gosh, should we really be trying to make money off of shipping here? This money isn't really profit. I have to buy, with all my records, I send all my records in poly sleeves, and I have to buy those. Most records you buy don't come in poly sleeves. I want the records I'm shipping to be protected, and I didn't pack that into the price of my item. Okay, that's just something I do, and so I consider this an expense. Now let's say I had to use a bubble mailer that I bought. You go to the dollar stores to buy a bubble mailer, it costs you $1. So you don't have to necessarily feel like guilty because you overcharged. You have shipping expenses. These labels cost money. That big box of labels there, the 500 labels, cost $80 at Office Max, okay? So I'm recouping some of my expenses for shipping materials. So I just wanted to kind of explain that a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is purchase postage. And I'm going to get a label in my printer ready to go. While the computer is working. Okay, so here's our next screen. Says I've successfully purchased postage. So now what I want to do is click on the print label button right here. And again, a Windows 7 machine that's pretty beat up, so it's a little slow. So thanks for your patience here. So there's my label. Okay. Oh, Hold on a second. Let me click my back button here once. Now this is going to print, you can see it's kind of as a landscape aspect. If you print this on a regular sheet of paper, it's going to have all of your instructions on how to put this label on your box. For example, you don't want tape going over the barcode if you do this on regular paper. I'm really sorry about how long my computer's taken here, so let's just bear with me if you please. Come on. Let me just click stop here. What I'm going to do here is, all right, my computer is still thinking. I apologize that you have to suffer through this. Basically, I mean, at this point, the label is going to ship, or it's going to print, okay? So, gosh, I don't want to have you sitting here waiting as I'm, basically at that point, all you're going to do is use your standard printing Control P or choose the print command there, and you're just going to print your label. In the case of mine, they're going to be these self-adhesive labels, and I'm just going to stick them on there, and they're going to be ready to go. So it's really that simple. What I wanted to show you also, and I guess I kind of did there, was showing you how you can change your dimensions. Remember that you can always change your dimensions, and you can always change your weight. Okay, so, and this kind of gets to a listing philosophy. Okay, so when you're listing and when you're weighing stuff, you do kind of have to estimate with certain items. Let's say you have a piece of fairly fragile glass, and it's going to take a lot of packing material. How do you estimate that? Well, for me, I want a box at least twice the dimensions of of the item that I'm putting in there. If it's something breakable, at least double the size. So if it's 6 inches tall by 6 inches wide, I want something 12 by 12. Okay, so I have to figure that in my size. And then with weight, sometimes you have to double it. That's usually pretty safe. The bottom line is you want to overestimate. You can always overestimate, because let's say you overcharge the customer. Let's say instead of just making that dollar like I showed you, what if it comes up and it's like, you overcharged by $6 or $7 or something because you overestimated your shipping. Well, what you can always do is go back into PayPal and refund your customer that $6 or $7 or whatever it is that you overcharged for shipping. You can always do that. But what you cannot do, if you underestimate, you cannot go to the customer and say, hey, my bad, I undercharged for shipping. I'm going to need another $4 or $6, whatever it comes to. You can do that, but you're almost assuring yourself that you're going to receive negative feedback for that. So that is not what you want to do. When it comes to things like that, now things like records, we sell so many of them. I know they're almost always 13 by 13 by 1. They're 1 pound if it's a single LP, 180 gram. It's about 1.5 or 1.6 pounds, 1 pound 6 ounces if it's a double LP, and it's almost 2 pounds if it's a triple LP. So I know how to set those in. So all my records are going to be shipping media mail. This game is going to go first class because, as I wrote on here, it is only 5 ounces. Remember, anything under 13 ounces can ship first class, and that's a really inexpensive way to ship. You can really save your customers money that way. So one thing that's going to help you sell more is if you get good at estimating your shipping, and this just is something that takes time and experience. You can, let's say I have I have a record that's $20 and another seller has a record for $20. The maximum you can charge for a record in that category, the maximum shipping you can charge is $4. And almost everybody puts $4 on their shipping. Now you see it costs $2.72. Of course, it's going to the same postal zone that I live in, but you know, usually $3 is enough to cover a record, maybe 3.25 nationwide. I usually charge $3.50 to $3.75. That's just a flat fee that I charge. Most people go all the way to $4. So if somebody has a $20 record and I have that same $20 record and my shipping is 50 to 75 cents less, that's a little leg up. Plus, I'm a top-rated power seller. That shows next to my item in the listings. So hopefully that gives me a little bit of a leg up over my my competition, and that's what it's all about. There's a